Welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Olajide Bello. First, the headlines. President Tinubu leaves France on Monday for South Africa to co-chair 11th session of Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission. Georgia president calls for new elections as protests erupt again. United Nations Secretary General calls for end to HIV/AIDS as countries mark the day. President Bola Tinubu is to leave France on Monday for Cape Town, South Africa, to co-chair the 11th session of the Nigerian-South Africa Binational Commission (BNC) alongside President Cyril Ramaphosa. The presidential BNC, scheduled for Tuesday, December 3rd, will be preceded by a ministerial meeting on December 2nd, 2024 at the South African Parliament building in Cape Town. President Tinubu and President Ramaphosa will engage in substantive talks on a wide range of issues of mutual interest, including bilateral, regional and international matters. Building on the commitments from their June 20, 2024 meeting in Johannesburg shortly after President Ramaphosa's inauguration for his second term in office, the two leaders will review the progress achieved since the 10th session of the BNC held in Abuja from November 29th to December 1st, 2021. The 11th session of the BNC will feature deliberations across 8 working groups, each focusing on a specific area of mutual interest. These include political consultations, consular and migration, banking and finance, defense, security, manufacturing, social sector, mines, energy, and trade and investment. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, indicates that at the high-level meeting, officials of both countries will sign several memoranda of understanding, MOUs, and agreement. The Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission was established in 1999 to strengthen the ties of friendship and cooperation between the two nations. The BNC provides a platform for sustaining high-level dialogue and promotion of cooperation in critical areas such as diplomacy, economy, trade, security, and other areas of mutual interest. President Tinubu is to return to the country after the BNC meeting. Nigeria and France have signed a memorandum of understanding to develop joint projects to promote and diversify the critical minerals value chain in the solid minerals sector of both countries. The Memorandum of Understanding signed by both countries on the sidelines of the official visit to France by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Both countries agreed to collaborate on research, training, and Franco-Nigerian student exchange for knowledge and skills transfer. A key component of the MOU is the promotion of the sustainable mining activities by executing projects and programs that reduce the environmental impact of mining on carbon emissions, water consumption, and climate change. It also includes the establishment of joint extractive and processing projects through co-financing by public and private entities to diversify and secure the supply of critical minerals and decarbonize energy projects critical to the value chain. Dilalake signed for Nigeria, while the interministerial delegate for critical ores and metals of the Republic of France, Benjamin Gazelu, signed on behalf of France. The MOU is expected to open new opportunities for the remediation of over 2,000 abandoned pits in the country through its plan to intervene in environmental rehabilitation and post-mining projects. The leaders of the 3 main Irish political parties have been re-elected to serve in the Irish Parliament. So far, 41 out of the Dáil's 174 seats have been filled, with counting resuming on Sunday morning. Michael Martin of Fianna Fáil, Simon Harris of the Fine Gael, and Sinn Féin leader Mary Lou MacDonald have overcome their first obstacles in the Irish general election. Now, they all face an even bigger challenge to try to form the next government. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have served together in the outgoing government, and after the first day of counting votes, they seem well placed to return to government. Georgia's pro-Western president has said she will stay in the post until new parliamentary elections are held as protests continue over the government's decision to put EU accession negotiations on hold. Speaking to the BBC, Salome Zorobici, who has sided with the opposition and described the current parliament as legitimate after allegations of fraud in last month's election. Zorobici hired she would retain her role as president despite the country's new elected parliament saying it would choose her replacement on 14th December. Mass protests in the capital are counting to erupt for a third consecutive night on Saturday in the capital, Tbilisi. Riot police have been deployed around the country's parliament, the focal point of 3 nights of protest. The list of presidential hopefuls in Côte d'Ivoire has grown bigger. The latest entrant is the former wife of former President Laurent Gbagbo. Kolo Mohammed tells us more.
Presidential hopeful Simone Hivet won the nomination of her party, the Movement for Capable Generations, at a congress in her native town of Mosul in the country. In her acceptance speech, Hivet listed national reconciliation through amnesty, food security, and industrialization as her priorities. Laurent Gbagbo and Simone divorced in June 2023 after 34 years of marriage and decades of joint activism. A teacher by profession, Hivet began activism as a trade unionist in the 1970s, and her political star rose when she met Gbagbo in 1973. Together, they founded the Abuja Ivorian Front in 1982 to catalyze opposition. During Gbagbo's incarceration for war crimes, the outfit was seized by Pascal, who has also announced his candidature for the 2025 election. Former President Gbagbo, acquitted in 2019, has also accepted the nomination of his party to run for president in 2025. The incumbent President Ouattara, re-elected in 2020, is yet to say if he is rerunning or stepping aside. Analysts define the build-up to the 2025 election as one riddled with the presence of old staunch enemies, in hopes that the choice of Ivorians will water down the heat in the build-up to the polls. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
Huge flooding caused by heavy rain in Malaysia and a neighboring Thailand has killed at least 12 people, officials say. More than 122,000 people have been forced out of their homes in northern Malaysia, while in southern Thailand, around 13,000 others have also been displaced. There are fears the number could rise as heavy rain and storm warnings remain in place. Emergency services personnel have been deployed to help rescue stranded residents, and shelters are being provided. The flooding, which began earlier in the week, has seen thousands of residents evacuated in both nations. Flooding has impacted nearly 534,000 households in southern Thailand, disaster officials said, and 2 hospitals had closed to prevent flood waters from damaging medical facilities. Russia has carried out a series of airstrikes in Syria early on Sunday as rebels advanced towards the south, according to the UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The hit rural parts of Idlib and Hama, where the group leading the rebel offensive has recently taken control. It follows the forced regional strikes on Aleppo since 2016 on Saturday as rebels seized most Syria's second-largest city. The offensive, which began earlier this week, marks the most significant fighting in Syria's civil war in recent years. More than 300 people, including at least 20 civilians, have been killed since Wednesday. The Gulf heads of government converge on Kuwait City for the 45th summit. This time around, more political and economic issues top the agenda for critical discussion. Details with Kolo Mohammed.
Underscores the importance of collective action amongst nations in the region. In unison, the Gulf has called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. In the opening speech, the Emir of Kuwait called on the international community to play an unbiased role in implementing UN Security Council resolutions around the world. He echoed support for a permanent solution regarding the Middle East major crisis, pointing out that the emergence of a two-state will eventually bring permanent peace in the region. Gulf leaders say the summit is rather a platform for them to coordinate their visions and stands towards regional and international issues. They say it also creates an avenue for leaders to look into strategic files designed to strengthen regional security and stability, in addition to backing up sustainable economic development in the 6 countries members of the bloc. Kola Muhammad, NTA News.
The world can end acquired immune deficiency syndrome (AIDS) if everyone's rights are protected. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said this in a message as the world marks the day. The UN chief says human rights are at the center with communities in the lead. The world can end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030.
The world is infected with HIV. And 1/4 of the people living with HIV, more than 9 million people, lack access to life-saving treatment. Discriminatory laws, policies and practices punish and stigmatize vulnerable people, especially women, girls and minorities, preventing their access to proven preventions, testing, treatment and care. This year's World AIDS Day reminds us the fight against AIDS can be won if leaders take a rights-based approach to ensure that everyone, especially the most vulnerable, can get the services they need without fear.
The theme of this year's celebration is Take the Right Path, My Health, My Right. The World Health Organization is calling on global leaders and citizens to champion the right to health, addressing the inequalities that hinder progress in ending AIDS. The food security component of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu is vigorously propelled through several intervention programs, where the Agricultural Transformation Agenda Support Program Phase 1 ASAP 1 is redefining the rural agricultural value chain. At the 2024 National Agric Show at Kefi Road, Nasarawa State, beneficiaries of the program put on display varieties of value-added products from their work. Kelvin Elhonai reports.
Cultural Transformation Agenda Support Program, Phase 1, is a program of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security with support of the African Development Bank. The program is being implemented in 4 staple crops processing zones in 7 states, covering 225 communities in 33 local government areas. Sorghum, cassava and rice are the flagship crops in the project, with a target to increase their production and value chain to improve food and nutrition security, create jobs, and enhance incomes of rural farmers in a sustainable basis, while also paying attention to rural infrastructure. This year's Agric Show offers the beneficiaries an opportunity to showcase their skills in value-added products and fabricated crop processing implements, which are making their lives better. This level of accomplishment is emphasized the ATASWAN National Program Coordinator, Ibrahim Muhammad Arabi.
Aside from the real, indicators that is required for us, we have fulfilled that indicators, and we have also others like seed, community seed production. It's not in an indicator in the project, but we have organized it and we have implemented it, and now we are sure that as we are going, we have a sustainable, seed, production in the communities that can satisfy their own needs. So you have to be excited. And we are also contributing to the food security aspiration of the present Mr. President, President Bola Tinubu. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Senator Abubakar Kyari, is giving us the enabling environment. So one has to be excited and thankful to God.
The various SCPZ team lead, who led their beneficiary from the 4 zones to Agric Show, spoke on how this program has helped to link their products to off-takers, but also sharing of ideas with other beneficiaries.
Help the farmers improve their income, the employment of youth, you understand. Then, ATASWAN also constructed schools for farmers, so farmers' children can enjoy the same thing the people in the township enjoy.
Sorghum, we are also connected and collaborating with Nigeria Flour Mill, Honeywell, because they need this sorghum for their processing. And we have some also cottage industry for rice processing.
Food we processed and come with, we call them product diversified, because ordinarily and traditionally we only do some few things from this product, but through the project we're able to expand. Like rice now, you can produce up to 15 products from rice.
At the conclusion of the 2024 National Agriculture Show, ATAP's one project won the best agency under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, where Bida Badegi Zone came third, Kebto Zone second, and Adani Omo Zone took the first position. In Abuja, Kelvin Ebunwaye, NTA News.
You're watching the news at NTA International. We're going on a short break. The news continues in a moment.
Imagine a world where your potential isn't limited by your bank account, where your financial dream can become reality. That world is here with the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation Scheme, Credicore. Credicore is one of President Tinubu's initiatives designed to put the power of consumer credit in the hands of working Nigerians. Here to help you achieve your goals, whether it's providing for your family or expanding your home or business. Visit www.credicore.ng today for details. This is the renewed hope.
Thanks for being there. Christians have been admonished to emulate the life of Jesus Christ by manifesting the virtues of love and good neighborliness wherever they live. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, represented by the Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Jibril Mohammed Dache, gave the charge at the NTA, FRCN and Voice of Nigeria 9 Lessons in Carol 2024 in Abuja.
This annual event has special relevance in our nation, not just for spiritual significance, but for the values it represents, such as hope, unity, peace, which are principles that resonate deeply with our shared journey as Nigerians.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Abdul Hamid Dembers, was represented by the Executive Director Programs. The federal government of Nigeria, in collaboration with state governments, has taken a decisive step to eliminate 21 life-threatening neglected tropical diseases from the country. Uche Ugochukwu reports that leaders and health experts outlined strategies to address the suffering of millions of Nigerians at a high-level advocacy meeting in Abuja.
At the heart of Nigeria's fight against neglected tropical diseases, NTDs, lies a renewed commitment to collaboration. This is why health commissioners from all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory converged to energize efforts to eliminate NTDs, which continue to affect millions of Nigerians, especially in underserved communities, as required by the Kigali Declaration on NTDs Action.
Even as we sit down together and come up with the policies at the national level, but the subnationals are very important in our drive towards ending NTD,
which seeks to not just only strengthen our partnership in the efforts to reduce the NTD burden, but to actually make the progress we all know that can be seen.
Although Nigeria has attained significant milestones in the treatments of river blindness, lymphatic filariasis, and trachoma, records show the country still carries the highest burden of NTDs in sub-Saharan Africa.
It is therefore imperative that we continue to prioritize their elimination and ensure that no one is left behind in our efforts to improve public health.
Together, mobilize across all society to eliminate NTDs from our society. The control and elimination of NTDs in Nigeria remains an important element in our drives toward the attainment of universal health coverage by 2030, the achievement of SDG 3, as well as the eradication of poverty from our country.
The advocacy meeting, therefore, focuses on mobilizing resources, improving logistics, and strengthening policy coordination between federal and state health agencies, as they were urged to increase budgetary allocations, ensure counterpart funding for donor-supported programs, and integrate NTD's efforts into broader health agenda. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
And after 35 years in Brazil, a businessman based in the South American country has returned to Nigeria with 700 grams of cocaine buried in his stomach. This is among other illicit drug busts in some parts of the country during the week. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim tells us more.
The 59-year-old businessman was arrested on Friday, 29th November 2024 at the E-Arrival Hall of the Lagos Airport upon his return from Sao Paulo, Brazil. After a plenary investigation which confirmed foreign substance in his stomach, the suspect was placed under excretion observation, during which he expelled 29 wraps of substances that tested positive to cocaine, weighing 700 grams. The suspect claimed he operates an African store in Brazil where he sells provisions, shoes and clothes. In Kano, NDLEA operative on Thursday, 28 November, arrested 3 suspects with 2,000 ampoules on pentazocine injection and 135,000 pills of Exol 5 at Gadar Tamburawa Zaria Road. Similarly, no fewer than 2,120 kilograms of Ghanaian loud, a strong strain of cannabis produced in Ghana, were intercepted by NDLEA operatives in Lagos on Thursday, 28 November. With the same vigor, command and formation of the agency across the country continue their war against drug abuse, among other sensitization activities in public places. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
The exciting and entertaining 2024 Africa Military Games Abuja, which began 12 days ago, have ended in a grand closing ceremony with Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu extolling the sacrifice and spirit of the African servicemen and women in keeping the continent safe. Suleiman Musa reports that Nigeria emerged overall winner of the Games with a total of 234 medals.
Of rich Nigerian culture and artistic fireworks, marking the end of the second edition of the Africa Military Games in Abuja, showcasing Nigeria's unity and strength, had left participants and spectators with an unforgettable and pleasing memories. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented President Bola Tinubu, acknowledged the resilience and bravery of the military in combating emerging threats and terrorism, commending organizers of the game for bringing African military together for enhanced cooperation.
Let me take this moment to reaffirm the resolve of this administration to rid our nation of security threats and violent crimes. As chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, I reiterate my unwavering commitment to stabilizing the sub-region and extending that effort across the continent. This is the duty we owe our people. But to succeed, we must deepen ties across our nations and foster a robust sense of camaraderie among our troops. The spirit of this collaboration is why this edition of the Africa Military Games is so timely, coming 22 years after the inaugural edition. I also congratulate all delegates from the participating countries for their exemplary conduct and the immense display of sportsmanship. Through your professionalism and discipline, you have shown that you are not only military personnel, but also extraordinary sportsmen and women.
Allow me to begin by congratulating all the teams that competed in this edition of the Games. While the medals and trophies represent the pinnacle of achievement, I must emphasize that in these games, irrespective of ranking or position, every team is a winner. The courage, skill, and sportsmanship exhibited on the fields, tracks, and courts have been nothing short of inspiring. You are proving that victory is not just about crossing the finish line first, but about embodying the values of unity and resilience.
Nigeria won a total of 234 medals, comprising of 114 gold, 65 silver and 55 bronze, closely followed by Algeria, who emerged second with a total of 96 medals, and Kenya third with 50 medals. The Africa Military Games 3rd edition will next hold in 2027 in Algeria. In Abuja, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
And this is where we end the news. Many thanks for being a part of it. I'm Olajide Bello.